Coming up this week on Beyond the Vibe, we have Heather Leoni, lead vocalist of the Novahawks.
Then it all got cancelled and we were like, what? No! If I was so lucky enough to ever play with them. And then, like, could you imagine? It's like, do you remember that time when, like, no.
Oh yeah, I've got to see the picture. Got to see the picture.
Are you ready for this?
Ta-da.
Oh.
No way!
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Vibe, the show that cuts deep into the world of music. This week on Beyond the Vibe, we're talking about bands to check out this year, with gigging seeming like it's going to resume, at some point at least. We were thinking about bands that we want to check out that maybe we haven't seen yet, or bands that have broke out through lockdown. Two for me would be Dirty Honey and Crownlands. Both have this kind of retro style, really like awesome vibes. And speaking of that, I think the Novahawks, of course, we've interviewed Heather, that'll be on shortly, are certainly one to check out live. They've just released a couple of weeks ago the new album Redemption. One to check out if you haven't already. And earlier on we chatted to Heather Leoni, lead vocalist of the Novahawks, and you can hear that now.
So we're here with Heather Leoni, lead singer in the Novahawks, fresh from the release of their debut album Redemption. Thanks for joining us, Heather.
That's all right. Hiya. How are you?
Oh,
it's all right. It's all right. It's always a bit awkward the start of an interview, isn't it? Because you do a big announcement and then it's like, ba-da! And it's like, how you doing? You all right?
Well, yeah. I mean, is it like a video or is it just audio? Because then...
Oh,
it's both.
We're
both.
Yeah. We have a camera over here which looks way nicer than this camera here. So...
But your cameras looks quite nice, yeah. So you can do all the hand movements.
There we go. Oh, I could have got a better background then. I could have put like the ocean and all sorts.
Piano looks cool. You're good. All right.
So
carry on. Sorry.
Cool. So let's go right back to the very beginning for you. Like, how did it all start for you as a singer?
Well, it's kind of a funny story, really. I basically I was at school as you do, and I could notice that people in the school concerts were having a day off from lessons to rehearse for the school concerts. So I was like, I want in on that. So I think I was in year 7 or year 8, and I did sang before at home and stuff, and didn't really pay much attention to it. Just kind of sang along to Mariah Carey, but and and so I kind of, two of my friends, we said let's do a song so we don't have to go to lessons, and we did a song by Westlife. Again, can't believe I'm saying that publicly, but we did a song by Westlife, and my friend, when we went to go on stage, I was wearing purple trousers and they were wearing jeans, and they were like, right, you have to stand in the middle and now you have to start the song. So I did, and then my mum's friend turned around and she said, I didn't know your Heather could sing, and my mum was like, neither did I. And I think that just kind of went from there. And then I just liked not being in lessons 3 times a year, so just kept doing it, and then I kind of got obsessed with it, and it's just went from there.
Nice, that's cool. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's the whole point of doing it, isn't it? Is that it's kind of a rebellion away from a lot of that norm that you have when you're at school. I did the same thing with guitar. I'd see people going off to this special room with a guy that was cooler than everyone else. And I wanted to go on that. Nothing weird. My 14-year-old.
I don't know what kind of guitar lessons you're doing.
He said I was special. Right, move on from that.
Hoping to get out of that.
Yeah, but that was it. It's like you see all these people escaping from obviously the mundaneness of school, and being able to have something. I think the cool thing is it's your own thing as well, isn't it? Like, you're not really being told to do it, and I think that's definitely a big part of it.
And I was bullied at school, so it was kind of an escape as well. Like, the people that were in the school hall doing the concerts were the kids that were like the outcasts, and we all kind of that was it. That's who you got on with, because we were all the same frame of mind of like, I don't want to go to German and maths and science, but I want to hang out with you weirdos. And it just kind of escalated from there. But
it's interesting because it was a similar story with when we spoke to Nathan from Inglorious. He was bullied and found kind of a home with singing at the same. So it definitely seems to be like, for a lot of people, it's that escape, definitely. That's finding your identity somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So what was your first step into actually gigging? Like, have you ever been a solo artist? Have you always been in bands?
Have I always been in bands?
Yeah.
Again, with school, I think the first couple of years I was singing things like, well, I nearly said Wolfjaw then, because I was reading this thing. I wasn't in there never in that band. Not literally. But the first couple of years I did things like Westlife and Oh Danny Boy. I remember my music teacher wanted me to sing that, and I was like, no, that's so uncool. And then I ended up doing it, and it was embarrassing, but it was quite funny. And I did Big Yellow Taxi, and I did that with the guitar teacher, and he was like, oh, let's do the Joni Mitchell version of it, mixed with was it Sheryl Crow that did it? I can't remember who did it.
I don't know, I only know the Joni Mitchell version, but it's great. I love the song.
There was somebody covered it at the time, so I was kind of doing it both. And Mr. Fenterman, his name was Phil Fenterman, and he was like, I'll get like a couple of the guitar students to do it. And then that was really cool, because I got to be in the alternative concert. So I got to do Danny Boy on the Wednesday, and I had another day off on the Thursday. So I was like, okay, this like playing in bands thing's pretty cool. So I started doing it that way. And then my brother was 2 years above me, and they got a band together, and they're like, why don't we get your sister to come and sing Sweet Child of Mine?
Cool.
And that's where that escalated into rock music. So there's some interesting videos of me my mum's got at home. It's really funny.
We'll have to be in contact with Heather's mum to make sure.
Here they are now.
I have a photo. I'll have to find it for you. I have a photograph of me at school in a school concert, and I'll find it while we're chatting.
Yeah, 100%.
And Tom was like, "That's not you." Yeah, it is me.
So you spoke about them like foundations of like starting to be in bands and be like, okay, this is cool. Like, when did you feel like you had your first kind of proper time being out on the gigging scene and being part of a band?
I think I was 16, and we used to hang around. All the moshers used to hang around in a place called Forbury Gardens in Reading, and there was a couple of lads there who my brother was friends with. Again, it was all my brother's fault, and they used to go to a jam night. And to be honest, I think that's where I got my start with live music, was jam nights. And I think they're the best thing ever. And my advice to any musician would be go to a jam night, because it's where you learn how, like, your craft. I personally think you learn how to communicate with other musicians. You learn how to communicate on stage. You learn how to, like, you get your confidence being on stage, confidence to like mess up as well. Because if you don't know how to be shit, then you know, it's not the job for you. Probably so I was 16, joined a band. I can't remember what we were called. We were a stoner grunge band, and we played we played lots of motorcycle rallies at 16, and it was mad. I don't know why we were doing that, but we were.
So you had that. I mean, that's just quite a pretty intense early education of jam nights and motorcycle rallies at about sort of a 16. And I mean, a lot of people are probably you because you was with the band kind of before you was in with Nova Hearts. Was you even with a band with Rex called Gypsy Hearts? Yeah,
well, that kind of stemmed from like I'd been in America for a while, and I'd kind of left music for a good couple of years. Like, I wasn't in a very good place, so I left. I didn't leave music, it was always there, but I'd had my son, and it was just not a great situation to be in, and I hadn't really sang for a while. And it was, you spoke about him earlier, it was Nathan. Actually, I bumped into him, and he was like, "You're better than, like," we're not better than, but I was doing jam nights. I started getting pushed out to jam nights again, and kind of built up a community of friends through that way, and then bumped into Nathan's. We've been friends since we were 17 and lost contact, and then we kind of got friends again, and then he was like, "Come, you should start a band, you should do it," and kind of that happened, and Rex was brought into the scene by the guitarist I was working with at the time called Andy, and Rex and I just were really good friends from it. Everyone else kind of like left and like people moved on, but Rex and I have always just stayed friends. So that's how Noblehawks came about from Gypsy Heart.
Right. Cool. So let's dive into
Picture, by the way.
Oh yeah, I've got to see the picture. Got to see the picture.
Are you ready for this?
Ta-da.
Oh,
No way!
no way!
Yeah, look at that.
That is beautiful. That is amazing.
It's the curtain, I think, that sets off the little tiny clips, 90s clips in my hair.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Do you know when you was in Gypsy Art with Rex, did you always feel like you guys were probably going to go on and start a new project? Like, did you feel like you and Rex were always going to have that musical connection, or was it something that was born out of the ashes of when Gypsy Heart died? Do you know what I mean? You kind of know, like, if God forbid Rivers, anything happened to Rivers, I think me and Hartwell would always have that connection, you know, because you just naturally have that sort of, it's a different relationship, isn't it?
I don't think I thought about it that far ahead. I think I always thought Gypsy Heart would have like kind of built more, but it was the demise of it. Rex was always kind of like the voice of reason,
right?
So that friendship didn't diminish, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, people just have difference of opinions in how they view things, and I think Andy, the guitarist, and I just didn't see eye to eye on anything. It was we always clashed heads, and Rex was always the guy in the middle that was like, "This is, you've both got good points, but they're not meeting at any point." And so, but generally, Rex kind of agreed on, I think, my side more. I don't know. You'd have to ask him, but we just got on better, and I think when it came round to starting music again, it just made sense. So maybe, but at the time it wasn't something I thought about really.
Yeah, of course. It just kind of probably naturally came together then after from the ashes from that. So let's dive into the new album that came out 2 weeks ago today, Redemption. We've both already given it a listen. It's got a great vibe and energy and has a real retro sound to it. I mean, when you and Rex came together initially and started writing for the album, what inspirations did you have that guided you to that overall theme?
We both really like live music, so I think that came from it. There was a part of us wanted the album to sound like you were in the room with us, and I think that was a big inspiration for this, like sonically. And so we kind of opted into songs that we'd want to play live as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just completely forgot the question. I've got baby brain, so
it's all right. It's
yeah, making sense, but no.
It's kind of about what inspirations did you have? Because like I think when any kind of projects come together, you might have them initial chats at 4 a.m, you know, after too much coffee or red wine, where you're like, oh, I'm really into this at the minute. Like you're saying, we were chatting about Marcus King, like off air, like about, you know, so like, was there anything that the two of you were listening to before you came together, or any particular inspiration that kind of guided the album and the overall sound of the band?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think we both, well, I'll speak from my point of view. I can't speak for Rex's, but I really just like old music. I've got like the bands I like now are usually inspired and have like an older sound as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a big thing for me. I'm really into that gospel sound anyway. So people like Rival Sons have used it, Chris Stapleton, Dolly Parton. I love Dolly Parton, but I'm a huge Chris Stapleton fan, and all the stuff that Dave Cobb does and that sort of sound, I think that's a big inspiration for me. Yeah, I don't know, I'm mostly inspired by male singers, which is, I think, is probably not the girl power I'm supposed to be projecting, but I've always admired male singers. Robert Plant, I mean, phenomenal. So yeah, probably from there. I don't know. I always wanted something that I knew would sound good on vinyl. And that's probably a big inspiration there. And my children, the people around me inspire me as well. That's like a big inspiration.
Yeah,
sorry,
cool.
that's I don't know, that's probably not the answer I should have given.
No, it's a great answer.
In terms of, you know, achieving that sound, how did you go about like recording it? You know, like getting that on
tape.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, we went to Rex's dad's house is literally up the road from here, which is where the Midlands connection comes from. And he has a cabin in his back garden, and we wrote a lot of the stuff in there, and then we recorded a lot of it in there. The only thing that wasn't recorded in there was the vocals minus Dusty Heart. Dusty Heart was recorded in there behind a sheet and with a ribbon microphone and a bed sheet. That was how that was recorded. All the odd things that you do, and it fell, and I was kind of just under it, and that's how all the muffled sounds ended up in there, which was really cool.
Yeah, it's badass.
Yeah, I was like under this bed sheet like a ghost, just like and we recorded the drums in there, we recorded guitars in there, we recorded percussion, everything was recorded in there. And then we went to Sensible Studios in London with John Moon, who's worked with pretty much everybody, and recorded vocals down there. And I think it was about a week. I spent a week down there doing it.
That's badass. I think that definitely links back to the question before around your sort of influences going into it, because it's a very sort of organic and natural sort of setup that you're going for. You know, the biggest word I got from your influences ever is that kind of, it's like organic and pure. You know what I mean? And I think all of that goes back to the techniques you've done to try and get that onto the record.
Yeah. Well, we just, like I said, we're just lovers of live music, and there's nothing beats being in a room with a band and watching them put what they've got in here out to people. And I think if you can create a record that translates that, then when you do play live, you can't really mess it up. So maybe that we kind of, watching our own backs and feel like, well, if we make this too polished, we could probably make this sound shit. Yeah, so there are little things in there. There are mistakes. There are like notes that haven't been tuned, because I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to put across. And even though now I hear it, there's still things I kind of go, cringe at that. But who cares at the end of the day?
It's real, isn't it? And I think that's definitely what it comes across. That's what you wanted to achieve.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm glad it's come across, because it was something that we set out to do, but it wasn't something that we kind of purposely did things to make that sound. Do you know what I mean? Like we weren't like, oh, if we put this on there, then it will sound like that. Yeah. It's just stuff that happens. Like I think on some of the tracks, there's one song, Redemption or Run Wild, I can't remember, but you can hear my cat in the background, in the backing vocals. Like you really I'd have to isolate it so you can hear her, but there is one, there's a witch that's on there. It didn't make the cut, but she did a humongous meow at the end of it, and I really fought for that to be at the end of that, but it didn't.
If anybody listening can find the cat on the new Nova Hawks record, you'll win nothing. No. but God bless.
Because she's doing my edit.
Don't say that. My missus will be sat next to that album now for like the next 2 months. We're like a halfway house with strays. Always trying to lure them in. But no, that's really cool. I mean, you spoke about some of the different songs on the album, Heather. Is there one in particular for you personally you'd recommend for people to when listening, and what's your personal favourite?
It changes all the time, because they're like I say like a lot today. They all tell a story, so it's how I'm feeling. Some of them I skip if I'm listening to it. I don't want to think about that. But I think probably for people to kind of encapsulate the whole sound of the Nova Hawks, probably either Redemption or Run Wild, which is why they were chosen as singles. Yeah. But my favourite is probably Between Love Games, which I wrote with my mum. And yeah, she didn't want her name on it, although her name is on the album, because she sang BVs and Technicolor, which I think is probably my other favourite song, because that song's got lovely meaning to me. But my mum sang BVs on that one, which I forced her to do it. She wasn't very happy, but I made her do it.
No, that's really cool.
I'm glad I did. But when I was struggling, Love Games was one of the last songs that we put together and wrote, and because I was really struggling to find lyrics for it, I was just like, let's just not even have it on the album. Like I just couldn't do it. Mum said, well, I'll come round and I'll try and help you, because she's great at stuff like she's just great at finding ways to help. And she came round, she said, I've written this like little line, and it was that it's too deep for a name, and about love, like you know, and was like, oh, that's really good. And it's kind of stemmed from there. So, but she wouldn't let me credit her on the album for that. But yeah, there it is. Well, my mum helped me write that song.
I think that's dead cool that your mum got involved in the album. I'd be dead proud of that.
I am, and she's like forever, especially Technicolor, because like just to briefly hit on that song's about a family tree. Like I lost my granddad a couple of years ago, and it was quite traumatic, I think, for a lot of my family. And well, I know we were all really sad, and my son was quite little at the time, and they really made a connection. And I used to call Milo Baby Blue, which is why the lyrics in it, Baby Blue, I'm crazy about you. So it's about him and my granddad kind of intertwining, and then my granddad's a tree in Carrick Chase now, and that's where there's lots of family tree kind of speaking about in it. And so I was like, Mum, why don't you sing on the track? And I was like, oh no, I can't. I was like, yes you can, like come and sing. And she did. And it's her dad that she lost, so it's kind of all about everybody being involved. So for me, that song is really special.
No, that's amazing. I love that.
She's forever in immortalized. I think that's the right word, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, as the Novahawks, I can imagine due to the pandemic, you didn't get much of a chance to go out and actually gig. But however, the new album has been released through Frontier Records, which is like a great thing, isn't it? Like, how did that come about? You know.
What the Frontiers thing?
Yeah.
Well, I wrote a song a few years ago now. I think it was 2016. In the same session that Redemption was written, with Andreas Eriksson, who was the guitarist in Inglorious. And then there was 3 songs we wrote, and I went over to Sweden to record them. And it was I Don't Know You, Redemption, and another song that's never seen the light of day. But the Inglorious guys then decided they wanted to record I Don't Know You, and they're obviously signed to Frontiers, and it kind of just went from there, really. I went to a couple of shows and sang it after it had come out, and they were there, and they were like, oh, do you want to write music for us? And I was like, yeah, okay. And then the Novahawks kind of came from there.
Yeah, that's cool.
We haven't played a single gig yet. We've not done a single gig. Yeah, it's mad. Gambling Man, but the same one that you guys are going to play. Yeah. And then it all got cancelled, and we were like, what? No. So fingers crossed for this year.
God, I bet that's mad, isn't it? The fact that you've brought an album out, like there's all this excitement about it and like the project in general, but you guys haven't yet to kind of have that moment. I mean, how does that feel like because we're on like lockdown number 3 at this point? Like you've had a baba, like there's like loads of things happened, but yet you guys still haven't got that. How do you feel about that? Are you excited? Are you nervous to get on the stage for the first time?
I think this time last year, gig this, and I get really nervous. I'm quite a nervous person anyway, like, so, well, not so, but like when it comes to being on stage, I get really scared. And then now I just think, do you know what, like not being able to do it, I just kind of throw caution to the wind and like I'm dead excited instead of being nervous. Like, what have we got to lose? A whole year of our lives again. Actually, that's what we have to lose. So I'm just excited. Funnily enough, I was thinking about that in the car earlier, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be really scared. So I thought, no, God. I might never get to do it again.
No, that's really cool. I think that's a really great way of looking at it, and hopefully I like the fact that you've kind of tried to turn it around, and think, do you know what? When it comes back to it, and I have that first opportunity, I'm going to think, fuck it, this is we've missed it for a year. It's about not worrying about anything and just enjoying it for what it is. And I'm sure loads of people can't wait to see it be brought to a stage, because I think it'll work really well. I think it'll be sick. This has become a bit of a signature question every week, because I think it's really cool for fans to be able to find out what people are like beyond the stage. I mean, for you, Heather, what do you do personally away from music, or is music everything?
Not a lot, really. Well, obviously, like I've got 2 children now. I've got a baby and a 7-year-old, so I hang out with them mostly. I think lockdown I've had to homeschool, and I was doing a degree in vocals, and cool. I kind of left that because I was really poorly with the pregnancy. And other than that, I don't. It's just music focused really in this house. So Yeah, nothing
No.
interesting.
No, that's cool. I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, your kids are very lucky because they'll probably have a lot of that as well, you know, because they're growing up, if that's the main focus. And I'm sure you've probably intertwined it a little bit with the homeschooling, you know. If not, I'm sure they'll just be very perceptive to picking up on it. So the two of them are very lucky.
Yeah, the eldest, he currently wants to be a guitar player. And then the youngest of 5 weeks old, he's quite calmed by music, which is lovely actually. So the first week of his life was the Chris Stapleton's new album was the only thing that would stop him from crying. So
that's nice.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it for a while because it was played constantly, but yeah, that worked. At least it wasn't something rubbish, you know, like, I don't know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but imagine if it was like Post Malone or something that we don't like, not saying he's rubbish, but something that we don't enjoy, you know, we're like, oh no, but...
I mean, to be fair, I don't know any small children that go, you know what, I feel like being rocked to sleep by Post Malone. But
for me, it would be AC/DC. It would just be the worst. I'd be
Yeah.
I can't.
I think if you're trying to have a kip though, it's different, isn't it? Like
having Brian Johnson
doing his thing, yeah, on Motorhead. Whereas I like Chris Stapleton. It's like the perfect kind of dozing off, chipping into dream world sort of music, isn't it?
Yeah. He's good for that.
I mean, me and Jade have been chatting about when we want to have a baba, and yeah, I've kind of prepared in my head like what sort of music I'd kind of distill into them from an early age, you know, because I think my dad didn't really give me a chance. You know, it was kind of like it was pretty much just from the off. It was just continuous. Just this is what you're going to listen to, and then this happened, you know. So the journey was complete. So I'm just going to try and repeat that process and see what happens. But it's nice though because I think kids naturally have their own personalities and they pick up on different things, and I bet it's cool to see that, particularly with music.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we Tom's playlist for 2018 I think was probably my like what was it, your top songs or something, and it was Ghostbusters, Pharrell Williams, the Trolls soundtrack, but it's getting progressively more like things that we want to listen to as well. So it, like you say, like he grows from listening to nursery rhymes to Justin Timberlake and pop into, oh, actually, I'm starting to understand that music is something to enjoy rather than like, you know, I don't know how to explain that, but he's gone for it's just, his taste just matured at 7 years old. I think that's probably the best way to. He'll listen to. He really likes. So we've gone off on a tangent now, but
that's cool.
One Republic. He really likes. Is it One Republic?
I've heard the kids listen to One Republic. It's
It's I don't know. Like I say, I like old music, so I don't know. He does that lately. I've been losing sleep. That one.
Yeah, I don't know, does it? But One Republic's definitely an actual band. That you've not just made that up.
Made that up. Otherwise, I've got a good name for a band. No, he likes them, which I think is good because the guy's an actual songwriter, so he's into real songwriters. So yeah, I'll give him that. I don't know. I'm off on one. Sorry.
That's all right.
Cool. So with the new album Redemption, what plans do you guys have now as it appears that live music scene is seemingly coming back? How are you guys going to celebrate the album?
I haven't got a clue, to be honest. I think as well as Rex has had a partner, just had a baby as well. So
okay.
Yeah, so their little one is 5 weeks younger than ours, so it's all brand new. So I think we've kind of both been in the game of baby. But probably, well, we've got to get out there and play, really, haven't we? So that'll be the thing that we do next. And
Would you want to do like, obviously you said you've not really gigged, or you've not gigged as a group. Would you want to come back and do like a full tour, or would you want to come back and like ease into it with a few kind of one-off gigs? Like, how would you imagine that transition in your mind? Because it's difficult, isn't it? Because you're going to have to do it at some point, you know.
I think you just got to hit the ground running, haven't you? Tour it.
Yeah.
The only way we're going to grab people's attention, because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to get out there and be around people and be with people to push it. So the response to it has been amazing, but probably hasn't reached as many people as we would have liked to have done. If we'd have been out on the road and kind of taken it out there, you know, you go out beforehand, play some gigs, meet people, hey, we're in a band, or we come out with you guys or with Tom or whoever, and that just hasn't happened. And I must admit, there was been a few moments where I felt quite sad, like we've been robbed of an experience that it deserved. But no, I think it'll be a tour, probably. Yeah, a tour, a few one-off gigs.
Now, in terms of your identity as a vocalist and performer, Heather, in terms of like the live setting, who do you draw inspiration from when building like your own identity?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Maybe when you was younger, like, do you know, when you kind of was doing them jam nights or anything? Because I mean, as a reference, like when I kind of joined Rivers, I kind of had certain people that I just naturally, without even realising, I took influence from. You know, do you feel like there's anybody like that in terms of your own identity? You say you are really into a lot of male singers. Is there any in particular that you kind of think, oh, it's a lot there?
I don't know. I think maybe, funnily enough, to go the other way, probably that Stevie Nicks is sort of floaty, kind of witchy vibes. I don't know. Probably JB Cannon with the big notes and the
yeah.
I like his energy on stage, though. I think he transcends. I quite like to do that, but I don't know. I really don't know, because I'm quite shy. Kind of shut off. Like all the time, people say you should make eye contact. I'm like, yeah, my therapist says the same, but it just doesn't happen. So I think I've kind of encompassed this sort of like. Maybe anxiety is my inspiration. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's mental health that is my inspiration.
That's cool. You know, I think you can, even though it's our question, I think you can overanalyze it. You know, whereas it's about what happens in that natural moment, isn't it? Because you know, anything can happen when you're on stage. You know, and it's just an expression of who you are, isn't it? But I agree. I think there's definitely that bit of Jay from Rival Sons, and we're both big fans of Jay because he's got that power, and I think he doesn't do a massive amount, Jay, but what he does is really powerful, and I think that and if he did more than that, I think it would take away from what he does with the simple things, you know. And I feel like you definitely channel a bit of that, you know, which is cool.
Thank you. That's quite the compliment. I don't know, were you again to go off on one, but were you at the what's it called, Rock City, when they played?
No, Hartwell was there, wasn't he? I missed that. Yeah. That's the one where he wore pink trousers, wasn't it? Or leopard skin trousers.
Stop about that. But his microphone wasn't working.
Right.
You could hear him over the band in Rock City.
Badass.
And that was something else. And you just think, do you know what? We're watching somebody that's not human, you know? And I was telling my mum about it, and she was like, that's what happened to you when you sang Big Yellow Taxi. And your microphone wasn't working. We could hear you at the back of the school hall over the band. And I was like,
that's really cool.
Oh, okay, so maybe I'm not human. But I wouldn't compare myself on the level of JB Cannon by any means, oh my God. But it was quite something to watch him do that, and then maybe draw a lot of inspiration from him. And then I could have met him, and I couldn't do it. He was behind the door. I was here, and the door was open like that, and he was the other side. And I saw his hand, and I just kind of went, nope, can't do it. Can't do it.
Not happening.
But it was I could never meet his heroes. I don't know, I just didn't want to. I just knew that I am an awkward potato, so I just didn't want to do it. No. But I'll have to send you the picture of me and Scott Holiday, because I look like a hot dog. It's just the worst. Like, you can see how uncomfortable I am. Just like, no, I don't want to be here. Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, definitely send that across.
I will. You'll enjoy that. Everybody enjoys it. They're like, oh no, that's the worst. I'm like,
It's what everyone does though when they have a photo. They immediately turn into a hot dog. Like, it just can't help it.
Yeah, especially it's somebody that you like, people that you really admire.
Yeah.
Wow, like this, just and there's so many things that you're like, I want to say these things to you. No.
No,
Like, he was talking about festivals, and like, oh, I like festivals. Like, of course I do. Like, what? Then the photo came, and I was like, yeah.
assume the
you'll laugh.
hot dog.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
Assume
man.
the hot dog.
Assume the hot
Yeah.
dog.
Oh god, so imagine like if we ever, like any of us are lucky enough to ever play with them, and then like, could you imagine? It's like, do you remember that time? When, like, no, they wouldn't remember, but
You'd have to, yeah, but I think if you did the pose, then to try and help him remember, you know, which it wouldn't help the situation at all. But I just love the idea of you going, yeah, but do you not remember the hot dog? Do you not remember? Just trying really hard, like, and then following him as a hot dog, like, please, Scott, please don't you remember?
something that I would do. Your question earlier about people to get to know you, you've just nailed. You've nailed it. That is me.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah. I'm glad I've come across right.
And so finally, this is a question that I like to ask everybody that comes on, bit of a hypothetical one. If you could gig with one band from the past and one band from the present, who would they be?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh God. Okay. Can I have one from the past and present? So it's like a 4 lineup bill, because that's confusing for me.
Okay, so you'd have 2 bands from the past and 2 from the present. Is that what you're saying?
The 2, but there is one in the middle, so they're past and present. They're still active.
Oh,
Yeah, go on. Yeah, we'll let you.
I'd
We'll
have
let pass.
my past band would be Led Zeppelin for sure.
Lovely.
It's a bit cliche, but who wouldn't? My middle one is Dolly Parton,
Okay.
Nice.
and then my new band would probably be Queens of the Stone Age.
Ooh,
Interesting.
Yeah,
very, very mixed lineup that is, isn't
Diverse
it?
lineup.
So you've got Nova Hawks opening, then Queens of the Stone Age, then obviously Dolly, because that,
Supporting Led Zeppelin.
yeah,
Insane.
and then Led Zeppelin headline. I mean, for me, I think that's badass. That is badass.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go to it. I don't know about you, but I would. I'd pay the money.
100%, yeah, big time. I think Dolly would be a hard act to follow. I think Zeppelin would have to fucking bring their A game.
I don't know whether you'd do Zeppelin and then Dolly. I don't know. I feel
It's
like
your choice. It's your choice.
I'd co-headline, and they could fight it out.
They could
who could sing a Queens of the Stone Age song the best, and then they would headline.
We could have Jimmy Page. we could have Jimmy Page and Dolly Parton snap a snooker cue in half, and then whoever wins out of the fight gets the headline. Because I think Dolly would
To
fuck
the
him up.
death.
Yeah, obviously to the death. Yeah, and then we'd have to then work out what we'd do with Jimmy Page's corpse, like at that point. Like, but I don't know. We've gone down
In
a
a
hole.
dark place now, and
Yeah, I might not sleep for 2 days now as I write the script. It's going to be good.
I like it. Do you remember that MTV program with the in the boxing ring, and it was like Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC, and they were plasticine?
No, but I need to
haven't made
find
up
it.
of my head. Honestly, it was a thing that was on, and it was like Britney Spears versus Christina Aguilera, and they were plasticine.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
I do remember this. I can't remember
Thank
the
you.
name.
Not something they've just
No,
born in.
I thought I was 100% certain that you'd made it up.
it's pretty weird.
I'm going to find it. That's my evening sorted.
Yeah, it was called something, and I can't remember. If I remember, I'll text you and tell you. Tom's just messaged me. What was it called? Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yes!
Thank you.
Get it written down. Get it scribbled. That's the evening sorted.
Like, so you can have Dolly Parton versus Jimmy Page. Is that your?
Celebrity deathmatch. Yeah.
Like a wrestling ring.
Yeah, and like Josh Homme could like commentate it, or he could referee it. Josh Homme, like,
He would be so good at that. Because his voice in Songs for the Deaf is just brilliant when he's like, "This is KRJW," whatever he says. Yeah. Or you could get. I'm on one now. You could get what's his name from Eagles of Death Metal to do it.
oh, Jesse Hughes.
Jesse Hughes, yeah, you could get him to. He responded to me on Instagram not that long ago, and I was like, "Tom, this is it. We're married now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is the end of us." Yeah, I dumped Tom for 5 minutes. It was great. But yeah, Jesse Hughes could be the preacher that commentates it.
Yeah, well, you could get that thing, where the mic comes down from the ceiling.
Yeah,
I mean, he'd lap.
on the thing.
He'd lap that up.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Dolly Parton versus Jimmy Page.
Cool. Completely different answer. We've reached a completely different question. It's like Ryan asked you if you could do a celebrity death match between two people, who would it be? And it's like, it's obviously Jimmy Page and Dolly Parton, then, isn't it?
I mean, that's the natural conclusion.
Who would you go?
I'd just be watching like a creep.
Yeah, I mean, why are you enjoying this, Robert? Like, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, I'm glad we reached that conclusion. It feels like the natural ending. I've now got to do like a proper professional end to the interview now, after talking bollocks for about 5 minutes.
Perfect.
I'm gonna get into my pose.
Here we go.
Do it.
Thanks ever so much to Heather for chatting to us. Nice, enlightening interview. I think we explored all the basics. Joe spoke about 10% about the Nova and the new fantastic new album, I might add, and 90% about who would win a death match between Dolly Parton and Jimmy Page.
Yeah, we would like to know other people's thoughts.
Yeah, we'll do a poll on the Insta. Yeah, I will do a poll on the Insta of who would win in a celebrity death match. That'll happen now, and I reckon people will vote for Dolly because I think she'd fuck him up.
He's quite frail now, isn't he? And she's going strong. So
Yeah,
my vote's with Dolly.
cool. That's Heather's vote. Get your vote in now. But yeah, thanks ever so much, Heather. For those that haven't checked out the Nova new album Redemption, make sure you give it a spin. It's awesome. Like, all the cool stories that Heather said about how it was recorded, that really comes across on the record, and you've got to go and check that out to really experience that. If you don't follow them on all the normal social medias, get on it on the Facebooks, the Instagram, and the YouTube. And yeah, we'll have to come and when you do go back gigging, we'll have to come and bother you.
Yes.
Yeah. Or we'll do one together. It'd be perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, we'd love to. Hartwell's already said that as soon as it's a thing, he wants it to happen. As have I. I was well up for it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was Heather Leoni of the Nova Hawks. As we said, you can check out their new album, Redemption. It's out right now to go and listen, and I would certainly say go and check it out. That's all for us here at Beyond the Vibe. But if you like our Facebook page, you can find out what guest we have next week. We have a really big, awesome guest next week, and all will be revealed on Wednesday. If if you head over to our page, and you can find out who it is. So we will see you next week.